there's many of us that have some grave concerns related to the commission. And my calling for the investigation into Capullas about 3 years ago should be an indicator to your commission of how much concern you should expect us to have. The letter that was sent that you responded to personally to Governor Corbett and the leaders of both chambers that had signed it related to his possible promotion during an investigation, a letter that should have never had to been issued. Many of us felt outrage that the commission was getting ready to promote somebody that was under investigation, that the commission has come out now through this consent decree and has found that there was in fact violations of the law, and they state in their information in the findings that the $75,000 fine is small compared to what the actions really should have been fined to ensure justice, but that the law and statutory limitations and those things would have prevented, I think, further pursuit of this. So in that letter that was sent to you, to the commission, and that you'd responded to Governor Corbett at the time, back in 2014, one of the closing lines had said, "The public's confidence in the commissioners entrusted to carry out the vitally important work of the Pennsylvania Game Commission can be compromised no further." No further. That means it's already been compromised. And it's still compromised to this day.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman.
That's why I personally, you are out of order and you will not interrupt me as the chairman of this committee. That's why, as the chairman of this committee and as a member of this General Assembly, I support this legislation because I think the Game Commission needs to be held more accountable than they have been. We have other pieces of legislation, as you know, dealing with putting the Game Commission under IRC and other sorts of initiatives. You can count on further momentum being seen to move the Game Commission into a position of being held more accountable than you have been. So I would appreciate the Game Commission's work in actually making those things happen that you say you want to see happen, with ensuring that we have, all the species protected and the mission of the Game Commission. So, I mean, that's something that we all want to see and we could find common ground on. I talked to Mr. Klein yesterday. I mean, from our conversation, I believe that the Federation, many members of the Federation would expect to see more accountability. And we might not agree on how to get there, but I think when any organization isn't held accountable, you're going to have problems. That's why we get elected every 2 years. We still have people going to jail, even when they're elected every 2 years, because they haven't been held accountable. So as we move forward with this bill or another, I would really admonish the commission to take a hard look at yourselves and make sure that you are able to restore that public trust. Because when you had said that it was what had happened to the deer herd in north central Pennsylvania, and your quote was, you said it was wrong what happened, you're trying to recover there. So we want to see a faster recovery. But thanks for being here. And if you stick around, we might have some further questions at the end.